Yorkshire's number one. Yorkshire's number one Asian station. Fever FM. What we're going to do, we're going to talk to you now. We've got a gentleman on the line. I hope the system is working. He's called Adam Kelly from the Free Vegan Cookout. Let me just see if the mic is functioning. Adam, are you there?
Hello, Lokesh. Can you hear me?
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Hey.
Well, good to have you online. So I'm sorry we had a little bit of difficulties a moment or two ago. And thank you for hanging out with us. Right. So first of all, the Free Vegan Cookout. Obviously, what does it mean? What do you do? Where did it come from? How did it start?
Right, so it's a central organisation, and it's a monthly event where we take to the streets to address stigmas surrounding what a vegan-friendly diet can look and taste like. But not only that, it's a way of sort of bridging the gap between the general public and veganism by means of friendly conversation on both the pragmatical and ethical sides of a vegan lifestyle. Yeah, it started, I don't know what city it started in, but I saw some friends running in Newcastle, and I was like, that is a really good idea. So I got in touch with the organisation. They basically posted me at a table.
When was
that? A portable gas cooker. This was over a year ago now.
Okay.
About 18 months ago. Yeah, they sent us out loads of things. They sent us out a table, a portable gas cooker, some bowls, a few other bits, and was just like, go for it. And here I am.
Right, wow. Well, so, I mean, tell us a little bit about it. Obviously, I've been to several of the cookouts. And I think it's I quite enjoy the experience. But for the listeners, explain what is it that happens exactly, or what is your intention with the events?
Well, like I said, it's to try and break some stigmas and get the general public talking about veganism a bit more, because a lot of people don't really understand it, or they get an unbalanced, biased view from the media or something. So it's effective because essentially people's guards are a lot lower when they've got good food in front of them. So we found that it's a great way of getting into conversation with people about stuff they might potentially not want to get into in any other situation.
Okay. And so how have things grown over 18 months? How have you seen things develop? What kind of things have encouraged you?
Well, every single month we run into more and more vegans and vegetarians. So we tend to ask people, would you like to try some vegan food? And the amount of people that are starting to say, oh, I'm already vegan, it grows with each month that we do it. And just the response we get from people, the conversations we have, they're always really good. So that alone spurs us on.
And have you, so give us an example, Adam, like of when you've, a good conversation that you've had, or a good interaction that you've had with somebody. How does that, how does that go?
Well, we have so many conversations. It's got to be up to 100 each month. But I think overall, probably vegetarians are some of the best people to speak to, because they tend to be vegetarians for the animals, but they get stuck with things like cheese and dairy, and they either go through some sort of mental gymnastics to ignore what happens to the poor cows and also the chickens with the eggs, or they simply don't know. So I always enjoy those conversations if you're sort of on the same level but not quite, so it's easier to relate and get through to people.
Yeah, I mean, what's kind of the biggest resistance? What do you see as the kind of biggest resistance towards people going vegan? Like, why? Why wouldn't they?
There's a few main things. There's convenience, which is becoming much less of an issue now with the growth in vegan-friendly food. But there's also apathy. They don't care, or tradition, culture, anything like that that's been like a lifetime of something that would require what they deem as a big change. I think that's something that stops people from taking the next step.
Okay, and so I mean, say I said to you, Adam, we've been eating meat for generations, for thousands of years. My forefathers and forefathers' forefathers. This is all a bit kind of hippie, new world kind of stuff that you're talking about. Yeah, like how can I give up the traditions? Like the food that my mum makes, etc., etc. What would you say to somebody who says that?
Well, yeah, that is something that comes up a lot, and I mean, depends on whether I'm talking pragmatically or ethically. Because I mean, ethically speaking, I'll ask them if that justifies an immoral act towards another being, and a lot of the times they haven't even thought about that, and so that's quite interesting because things like tradition shouldn't mean that you have to harm other beings to continue that tradition. But in terms of the pragmatical side, it's quite funny because I like to ask people how many different animals they actually currently eat.
Yeah.
And it's usually never more than about 5. Then they're always shocked when I ask them, how many edible plants do you think are out there to eat? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, over 50,000. And
Crazy,
they're always completely shocked. I'm like, I think it's about trying to change the way people see it, because just saying that, I'm trying to show people that there's a whole adventure, there's a whole exploration out there. We don't need to be bogged down by these few selections of foods based on tradition and culture. You can go out there and explore. There's a whole world of food out there.
I mean, since I went vegan, I remember when I first was going vegan, I remember thinking very clearly that, what am I going to eat? Because so much of the food that I ate was animal products, right? And then once you start, particularly when you start cooking yourself, there's this world of food to be discovered, and they've all got these different colors and textures and flavors, and then on the health angle, they've got all these antioxidants and phytonutrients and vitamins and minerals, and then you start eating all this stuff, Adam, and I ended up eating these meals that were like 3 times the size of what I used to eat before, but I would never get bloated. I'd have this flat belly. My digestion was wonderful. I was getting more energy day by day. And then you start to wonder, how could we have got it so wrong?
It can seem crazy once you've taken that step and you've lived the life for a while. Like you said, it's all education and experience, and that's all people need to do. They need to take that step and see how vast the world of food is out there. I mean, just the other month, I spent a few weeks discovering different types of squash, and they all tasted completely different, and they were all incredible. And
Hold on. Let me just say, did I hear that correctly? You spent a few months...
Few
weeks just experimenting with different kinds of squash?
Yes.
How many different kinds of squash are there, Adam?
Oh, God, in the local shops near me, about 6, but there's definitely more. But I mean, my 2 favourites were acorn and carnival squashes. The acorn squash is like a buttery, short crust pastry / potato texture and taste, and it's amazing.
Have you ever tried onion squash? We might be diverging a little bit from the topic.
No, I haven't.
One of the best squashes. I only ever see it sometimes on occasion when I've got some vouchers for Waitrose. So I'll pop in there, but they've got this onion squash sometimes, and it's absolutely phenomenal. You can use the skin as well, so it's absolutely fun. But I mean, these kind of things you would just never, when you're on a normal meat and dairy, eggs diet, you don't really think about these things so much, right? And once you start cooking, once you move out of it, you start to experiment, and an entire world of food comes available to you. And I think that's something we've seen at the Free Vegan Cookout. People didn't realize that, the food that they're familiar with can be the exact same flavors and textures, can be replaced. More than that, you can have other foods that are delicious that you haven't considered before. So it's a big thing, don't you think?
Exactly, and this is one of the main reasons why I love the Cookout, because you get to have these conversations about food with people that they probably normally wouldn't have in their day-to-day kind of life that's just based around what they know. And I mean, I was the same for 25 years, and I thought I was quite a good cook. But when I went plant-based, over the past 5 or 6 years or so, my culinary skills have just exponentially grown, and this is the point, just education and experience and being told.
Wonderful stuff. Well, two last questions for you real quick, Adam. Before we go off, why did you become a vegan?
Oh, that's quite a long story, but it was basically, to cut it short, I was happy to eat a dead cow, but didn't want to kill a spider. And someone pointed it out to me, and that kind of sent a spark. A seed was planted at that point, and over the coming months, I just looked into the ethical side of things and was like, wow, we don't need to eat animals. why are we doing it? I can't participate in this anymore.
Wow, what a conundrum. I was ready to eat a dead cow but couldn't kill a spider.
Exactly.
God bless you. The cognitive dissonance thing is real, my friend. It's real, and it's funny when we see it in ourselves. We can be challenged to take action, can't we?
It can be difficult to face. So difficult.
Absolutely. And finally, a message to anybody who's listening out there, vegan, not vegan.
Sure.
What would you like to say?
Go to veganuary.com and sign up and just give the vegan diet a go for January. You don't have to continue afterwards. Just see what it's like. You never know. You might love it. There's over 150,000 people that will be doing it this year. Be part of the future. Be part of change.
Wonderful stuff. So be part of the change. Check out Veganuary. That's January, 1 month of vegan help. Every single year, it's changed the lives of literally millions. Hopefully soon it's going to be billions. And then one day might be trillions. And it's just going to go on and on like that. It's an amazing thing. Veganuary, I guess veganuary.com. Check that out. It's an amazing job that they do. An amazing set of support and things that they provide out there. We've got a few messages coming through over here. Chaudhry Yaqub G is saying, ask the fine gentleman, what is the best vegetable you can eat? Thank you very much. Do you have an answer, Adam? That's for you.
Beetroot. Beetroot at the moment for me, but it changes every month.
Why do you say beetroot?
It's rich in plant nitrates, which means it keeps your blood flowing really well, good for recovery, good for general day-to-day energy, and they just look and taste fantastic. The colour's so vibrant. Yeah,
it's true. They're wonderful in most things. Add a great mix. We actually, Chaudhry Yaqub, I don't think you listen to the breakfast show, but I've spoken on that before. That beetroot is very, very powerful for arterial function. In fact, there's many sports people who do something called beet doping. So they'll actually get beetroot juice and have it shortly before they're about to perform, and it can improve performance almost like illegal drugs can do. So I can understand why Adam would be mentioning it there. So get some beetroot into your life, G. Nothing better than that. What we got over here? We've got other people saying you're the best person for education. Thank you very much for educating us. Something like this is good for the people. How many love animals? Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Sergi. Thank you, and thank you all for listening. So thank you so much, Adam, for hanging by with us as we experience those technical difficulties. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, sir.
Anytime. Glad to be on.
We'll love to have you back again one day. And so thank you very much from Adam Kelly from the Free Vegan Cookout. We're going to play you a track now, Blitzkrieg.